This video, How to Use Chrome Features and Settings, is in playlist How to Use the Chrome Browser. It is for Chrome version 63.0 running in Windows 10. This is a Tom's Tech Notes video. There are over 200 computer help and hobby videos on my channel page. If the video you are watching is part of a series, you should watch the series videos in order from the playlist on the channel page. To visit the channel, you can type this URL into your browser. You can search for TOMSTDA. The Google search works much better than the other searches. If they appear in your video window, you can click my name, Thomas Wallace, my photo, or a clickable link. To be notified when videos are added or updated to the channel, click the red subscribe button and request email notification. This video describes features available on the Customize and Control Settings menu, which you get by clicking this symbol at upper right. Clicking Settings, which is just below the bottom of the recording area, will open the Settings window, where you can view or change many program options that affect how the Chrome browser operates. We will be describing the settings that most people would use. I'll just cover the functions in the order they appear on the menu. The New tab will create a new tab in the browser. It's just as easy to do that by clicking this button here. It does the same thing. It opens a page from Chrome where they have some selections for you. You can open a web page from these selections, or you can type a search here and search for a website for the new tab. To get rid of the new tab, click the X. Second one's a new window. We showed you earlier in an earlier video that you can, once you have a tab open, you can drag that tab off the browser window to form a new window. Again, here's how to do that. I'll open a new tab. I'll open a website in that new tab and just drag it off. It becomes a new window. New Incognito window works the same way. It doesn't record the address of the Incognito window in your browser history. History will show you your browser history. Shows you these websites you visited recently. Downloads opens a page that shows you files that you have downloaded in the Chrome browser, and it even shows you ones you have downloaded and then deleted, like these are. It will also show you downloads that are still in process, and it'll show you how they're doing, how much of the download is finished. Bookmarks we covered in a separate video. This clicking here, the pop-up here will bookmark this page. Remember, there's an easier way to do that by clicking the star at the end of the address box. Show bookmarks bar shows or hides this line right here that has the bookmarks on it. That's the bookmarks bar. Bookmark Manager we've already talked about in the section on bookmarks. Import bookmarks and settings. In Chrome and in all browsers, there's a feature to let you import bookmarks or favorites or shortcuts that you created with other browsers. And you can import bookmarks from any browser that you have installed. Imported bookmarks will be put in a folder called Imported From, and then the name of the browser you imported them from. After you import them, you will no doubt want to go to the Bookmarks Manager and open that imported folder and rearrange them so that you can find them in the Chrome browser. Zoom just increases or decreases the size of the text that the browser is displaying. Again, it's far easier to use Control plus and Control minus as we have discussed before. This will display the current web page in full screen mode. It's easier to press F11 to enter or leave full screen mode. Full screen mode is useful for complex websites because the browser lines at the top disappear and more lines are available for the web page. Print will just print the current web page. It's easier to just press Control P. If the current web page has a print icon on it, you're much better off to use that print icon to print the web page. because most of those will format the web page in a better format for printing. If you just print a web page with this print command, a lot of times it's not as useful as it could be. Cast has something to do with doing a podcast from the screen. Find, Control F is the way to use the find, and most programs on Windows have that feature. If you press Control F, you can locate text on the screen. Let's try O. It's found at 5 places: here, 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 here. As you continue typing, it will match. So let's try the last part of the word power. So let's do OW. Now the only match is OW in power. So that the find command is a quite useful command. This will repeat the find going up on the current web page. This will go down is all. And you can then type another thing to search if you want, but if you want this window to disappear, this pop-up for find, just click X. It leaves it highlighted, but it doesn't hurt anything. More tools. It does let you save the current web page, but you should be aware of copyright restrictions, and it won't do you a lot of good if you're not an HTML programmer. Add to desktop creates a shortcut to the current web page on the desktop. But it's much easier to just drag the left end of the address box onto the desktop. Clear browsing data. Chrome, as all browsers do, creates a history file of the websites you've browsed between, and that does not get cleared when you log off and on or open the browser or close the browser unless you click Clear Browsing Data, and then that will clear the browsing data. Extensions lets you look at some add-on bits of programs or apps that can be used with the Chrome browser. Shows you which ones are currently enabled on your computer. For instance, there's my Norton security toolbar that fills in passwords for me. That's installed and that is enabled. Keyboard shortcuts shows you keyboard shortcuts for extensions and apps that you have installed on your computer for the Chrome browser. There's a way to open the Task Manager, and it shows you that the shortcut to do it in the Chrome browser is to press Shift Escape. That shows you apps and extensions and whatnot that have been opened inside of the Chrome browser. That's different from the Task Manager for Windows 10. If you use the Control-Alt-Delete to open the Task Manager for Windows 10, you get a much more extensive list showing all the programs and services and things like that that are running in your computer. But these are just the ones that have been run within the Chrome browser. And you have the capability to kill individual bits that are running in the Chrome browser with that in process button. I wouldn't do that at all. If I had a problem with the Chrome browser, anything in that, I would close the browser itself with the Windows Task Manager, and then start all over. Let's go back to where we were and see what else is there. Developer tools I'm not going to get into. So that's everything basically on the more tools. Now edit, you can't really edit somebody else's web page. If you did cut or copy, it would make a copy of whatever you'd highlighted on your clipboard. Cut would not delete what you cut because you obviously can't change somebody's website. And paste, you can't paste into a website that belongs to somebody else. If you had one of your own websites open, you might or might not be able to paste. If you're actually going to edit a website, I'd recommend a program specifically designed to do that, such as Dreamweaver from Adobe. That's the way I edit my website. It works quite well. Settings is we'll get to settings last because it's the most complicated thing on here. Help just shows you some choices. You can find you can go to the Help Center and actually find help for Google Chrome. You can send a problem report to Google about the Chrome browser. But if you click about Google Chrome, it will show you the version 63. It will tell you if it's up to date or not. There's also a line there to click to get help. and again there's that line again to report an issue. So you can email a problem and then just some information about Chrome. And that's okay. And the exit will actually close the browser. So you open the browser, you go into this pop-up from the customized menu, but if you click exit, it just closes the browser. Now settings is where you can control the nitty-gritty things that govern how Chrome operates. So you can sign on to a Chrome account. I don't use a Chrome account, so I have no idea what some of these things do. Appearance. You can open the web store and order things for Chrome, such as extensions and things like that. Here we have discussed most of these in earlier videos in this series. Show the home button is the one that either shows or hides this button right here, which you can assign to a web page so that while you're browsing at any point you click the home button, it will go back to the predefined web page. And as I mentioned earlier, there's a startup page and there's a home page, and I have them set both to my custom home page, which we've shown many times in these videos. Now on the home button again, you can revert the home button to show the new tab page that we've seen in earlier videos, or you can define a website here, and we covered that earlier also in the one on the Chrome functions that are available in the main window. Show bookmarks bar again, that's the one that shows or hides this bookmarks bar, and I recommend you always show that bookmarks bar. It's a very convenient place to store and access bookmarks. Font size, I would recommend you set it to medium, and then if you want to make any changes to the size of things that are displayed in your browser window, just use a Control plus and Control minus. That is by far the simplest way to change the size. You can change the fonts if you want, customize fonts. And again, once you've opened something, you can make the page larger and smaller. Chrome has a lot of ways to change the size of the web page. I would really recommend you forget them all and just use Control plus and Control minus when you need to. That's by far the easiest way to change the size of the display. The next item in the settings menu is the search engine section. Search engine selects the default search used in the address bar. If you click this arrow, you will see what searches are available to select for the default. Google is currently selected. It is my favorite search. Chrome comes with Yahoo, Bing, Ask, and AOL installed. For a more complete discussion of the search engine, see the next video in this series, because there we will discuss how to manage the search engines. It's too long to put within this video. Default browser, if you create a web page shortcut that does not have a browser address embedded in the shortcut, your default browser is the browser that will open that web page or shortcut or favorite if you open it. So if you create a shortcut in Chrome and put it on your desktop and then you open that shortcut, it won't necessarily open in Chrome. It will open in whatever browser is currently selected as your default. And you can designate any installed browser as your default. If Chrome is not your default browser, Chrome will display a button near the top of the window to click to make it the default browser. That line, it can be erased by clicking the X box at the end. If you erase that line, it does not come back even though Chrome is not your default browser. However, if you go into Settings, you will find a place to click to make Chrome your default browser. It's actually a Windows function that will let you make any of your installed browsers your default browser. There is an exception to that. If you create a shortcut while you're in the Internet Explorer browser, Mr. Gates wants you to use his products, so that shortcut will always open with the Internet Explorer browser no matter what your default browser is set to. But for the other browsers that you can create shortcuts from, any shortcut you create will open with the default browser. Some of those shortcuts will show a symbol indicating which browser is the default browser. Some of those shortcuts will show a symbol that is generated from the website. I do have a video on how to set your default browser. They're basically pretty much all the same in Windows 10. Some of these options we've discussed a little bit before. When you start the browser, do you want to open a new tab page? Do you want to continue where you left off, open where you were? I prefer to open a specific page, and I prefer to open my custom home page. So I have it set that way, and I did show how to do that in an earlier video. Let's look at some of the advanced settings. I would recommend just leave them alone unless you really know what you're doing. Now here, if you want to clear your browsing data, come into the advanced settings and then click this. And it gives you a choice what you will clear. You can select the time range. Maybe you want to clear the browsing for your last hour for some reason, or your last 24 hours or whatever. So you're going to erase a section of your browser history. Download history is the list of the files that you have downloaded from within the browser. And that will clear that list. It won't clear anything you've downloaded, but it will clear the history list of the things you've downloaded. If you click downloads right here, that shows you your download history. That's what gets cleared if you clear download history. If you want to find out where the download files are, just click Settings, Advanced Settings, and scroll down to where it says Downloads. Here's where you can set the address of your downloads. If you click Change, you can browse and select a different location to where Chrome will store its downloads. You can also tell Chrome that you want it to ask you each time where you want to save the file. Some of the other features I'm not really going to go over. And if you've changed some settings, you're not sure which ones, and you're all screwed up, you might want to restore to the original defaults and start all over again. That's the end of this video. Once again, here are several ways to visit the Tom's Tech Notes channel page.